Hello! Welcome to a live stream, particularly my live stream. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and a few other important things that are on my list. Do excuse my voice, I am still sick. It has been quite problematic for me. So I don't exactly sound the best. But here I am, I'm live. Welcome. I'm going to pull up the YouTube comments here while we all get loaded in and I attempt to clear my throat. Probably like not the kind of ASMR you were looking for. I'm sorry. Okay. Nope, not any better. I did like a good 15 minutes of voice exercises in the shower and it just did not help at all. But let's talk about BTC. BTC USD. Okay. I got Clonius and Kai. Welcome. Welcome to the party. Okay, Bitcoin. We actually need to identify what Bitcoin is doing. I created a really cool idea yesterday that I go over it pretty in depth. And I don't have to wait for 3D Wave PM because I already have him loaded up in this idea right here. Make sure you like my trading view ideas, guys. I really want to get this content on the front page. But we identified the longest pivots for mean reversion, right? As we know, as soon as we cross the 300 band, we revert to the 300 mean. As soon as we enter the 60 band, we revert to the 60 mean. So let's see how that's playing out now that it's about 12 hours prior. Okay? Alrighty. Change these to the right settings. $300. Hey now, I'm not begging for likes. I'm scratching your back, so you scratch my back. Alright? If I'm making you money, least you can do is tell me you like me. Alright. Wow. Who could have predicted this? Actually, it's probably, I want to get more accurate than the 300 because it probably only hit down to the 280. It's actually the 280 period, excuse me. My bad. Alright, so if we change this to 280, what happens? Ah, much better. Right, since if we look closely at the period of mass here, it's 280. It's beautiful. So, guess what happens when we enter a 280 band? Price reverts to the 280 moving average. And it bounces on the 280 moving average on the nose. And do you know where it's going to bounce to now? Because we have crossed this pivot of the 61.25 standard deviation, and the 60 band is now compressing. Price will trade laterally as defined by the 60 band and will revert to the 60 moving average. And price will continue to trade laterally as defined by the 60 band as long as it has a mass reading above the 0.7 value. Alrighty. Cairo says, can I check out the rationale behind my last BCPT call? Absolutely. It's very straightforward. It's real nice and easy. And it looks like it's doing pretty well. We finally broke out here. Hopefully this keeps going up. Since the call, it's up about 2%. That's pleasant. Right. All right, let's figure out what I called this. I had some alarms go off. I had them go off for a specific reason, and it was on the 12-hour chart, if I recall correctly. Okay, here on the 12-hour chart, the longest period was 200. Change this to a 200 band. Okay. I think I did the 6-hour chart. Excuse me, guys. Hold on. 1 second, folks. Okay, so right, math. Yeah, 400. I think I had it at the 380 period when I actually set up the alarm, but now it's at the 400 period, so we're still going to do the 400. Okay. Since if we tag inside the 400 containment zone, like we have in these two instances, and you get a relative period CCI rollup, and I used a 38 period CCI, right? And actually, this is just happening because of a point of extreme compression. So that CCI rollup is, what do you call it? Rather oversold because of the compressed conditions. Okay? Because the more compressed conditions you have, the more drastic your oversold signals will be. In the first lesson of my series, I actually go about this in depth on BTC USD. But our targets, the profit ratio is there, so that's why we're in this, right? I think this is about 70% upside. 50, excuse me. And our downside is, well, about 7 or 8%, right? Because if we start making new lows, that's the resumption of a downtrend. This is a 9-to-1 profit ratio, okay? And I had some people cancel out on the calls recently because they said the win rate wasn't high enough, right? The win rate is actually less than 50%. That's absolutely true. But the profit ratio is always at least 4-to-1. So if I just did 2-to-1 profit ratios, then a 50% win rate I would need, right? But I have double that. And quite often, even higher than that value. So, patience, guys. Take every call and just relax into it. Yeah, but the 38 period CCI rolled up. And now we're implied going to that mean. Profit ratio is there, so we're in it. I'm going to take a look at XRP. Absolutely. Caught this secondary entry. I think we're going to need to do another mean reversion before this trend can continue. Buying pressure seems pretty weak at the moment. Load up the volume candles here. Yeah. Okay, so what do we need to do? Take mass readings. What else can I do? Okay. Looks like we're reverting to the inside of the 60. We already have the 60 loaded up. Awesome. Yeah, XRP still needs to do some retracing. I took profit last night right around here. And we also had the opportunity to take profit at my target. You guessed it, 1,050. So right here. Okay, let's load up that call. I want to see how it played out. I actually called this twice. Once from the secondary entry point at this location. That worked out fine. And then we call it over here. Was it? No, I clicked on the same one. 1 second. Wow, that was a while ago. 15th. Yeah, the final target for this XRP long was 1050, 1040. And lo and behold, we did tag that before fully retracing. So, again, wait for the 60 moving average on the 4-hour chart to actually re-enter into XRP. Okay, let's take a look at BQX. Hold on. Oh, did I look at it on the 6 hour? XRP? I'm sorry. Yeah, I said 4 hour on XRP. It's actually the 6 hour. Excuse me. Also, I bought $200 of paint today. I bought a 5-gallon bucket of pouring medium. I have a few 48 by 48 inch canvases, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. Okay. 350. I'm just going to do the daily. That might be the best option here. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Okay. Let's take a look at the 60 period. Well, let's do 12 hour. It'll give us the best resolution. That's a good compromise. Perfect. That's a clean 180, and now I can take a look at that. Yeah, reversion is implied. Okay. I guess we can define this by an 18 period CCI roll up on the 12 hour. Let's do it. Okay. Changes to an 18 period. Go to alarms. Open up your 12-hour chart, and then put the following settings. This is going to be your buy signal for BQX. Make sure you have it set to the 18 period. It's just registered as plot. It's the first option. Because I don't name my variables when I code. Excellent. Yep, wait for that period. Whew. Being sick on Christmas is not fun, guys. Okay, what's next? To the Moon says, yikes, Bitcoin went down over the weekend. Yep. But we identified the pivots for mean reversion. Okay. Because even if we look at the previous example of Bitcoin, and I had a leading call with AST as well, right? All I did was identify the longest overexpanded period in the trend and waited for that cross down. As soon as it crossed down, price would revert to the relative mean. And lo and behold, it does exactly that. But let's actually find where I called that Bitcoin long position. Beautiful, right? Oh, yeah, this one was on the 15-minute, but I have it registered as the 370. As long as we stayed above the 370 on 15-minute, trend would be sustainable. And that does play out rather nicely. It does wick, because I actually forgot to account for short-term mass as well. That's my fault, right? If we look down here at the 120 period, if we loaded a 120 mean, it would be right there at this location. So it actually did need to complete short-term mean reversion before it could continue its sustainable trending. Thoughts on the pivot point indicator? I'm assuming pivot point indicator would define it on price action. I don't know. I wouldn't endorse it. The only thing I really endorse that I don't use is Ichimoku clouds, since it's a leading indicator. Just any leading indicator is better than what most people usually use. Okay, I need to like post my phone up here or something so I stop looking down. Okay. USD CAD. One sec. Interesting. Yeah. This has trended quite sustainably. Pen, you know what to look for here. Why are you asking about this? You would know exactly what I'm going to say. You should know where this is going, guys. As long as the 3-way PM loads up. Sure. Mass readings are kind of choppy. I don't like it. I guess we can consider this volatility overhead here. This cute little cloud. Let's just set a 100 period. I mean, this trend is just so defined. It's not really worth betting against quite yet. And since it's a sustainable trend, right? We're not getting all that much over expansion. And it's just trading their channel. And we had an upward break from the channel. I'm quite sure we got a few people liquidated on that. You know, if you have such an obvious trend line and you break up from the trend line, this is just a magnificent channel. Yeah, guys, upward breaks and rising wedges happen a lot more often than you think. We saw it on TRX. I remember making fun of a bunch of rising wedges on the TradingView ideas that day, but let's avoid getting bitter. I guess you could try something on the shorter time frames. No, because it's just lateral compression right now. Yeah, I wouldn't really trade this at the moment. Right? Since you don't really have any true over expansion because of the way this is trended so cleanly. Frank says, mix that paints every 2 weeks or so to keep it fresh and well mixed. Well, man, I make paintings about every day, so just from actually pouring the paint, I'm sure it'll stay fresh. But thank you for thinking of me. Am I still long in TRX? I am, actually. Yeah. I am. Actually, that was like the first call I made on this channel, and I'm still in it, right? I want to pull up TRX here. We called it where? 375? That was our first live stream, my folks. December 10th. And our long position right there on that swing low. That's just 40%. No biggie. We're flagging out pretty hard here. Let's identify the pivots. It's my favorite part. All right, we have two clouds here. Let's just assume the shorter plume first. Let's do 125. Okay. And how much you bet the bottom of the bear flag is going to be touching the 125 distribution? Yep, that's your pivot. That's really nice. Yeah, we might touch down to... Well, I'm just going to say this. If we're below 500, cash out. Other than that, this is still free game for upward expansion. However, unrealistic amount of force and an unrealistic amount of mass, right? This is a lot of mass, and you're going to need a shit ton of force to continue moving it the way it has been moving. Since it's flagging out like this, yes, I actually took about 75% profit on this flagging around 530. I recommend you can do the same, right? Since there are a few new calls that have a lot further compression, and well, betting on the beginning of trending is a lot better than betting on the continuation of trend. At least if you have the right signals, right? Like OAX, I was considering calling that last night. I called BCPT instead. But this is really nice compression. We had the nice upward CCI roll. We fully reverted to the required mean. Right, 280. Let's check it out. 28. Actually, this is a pretty good point too. This is actually the entry signal I received. Since 28 was the longest overexpanded period, I used this roll up right here where we dipped below that 28 period and came back up. That was my entry signal. And I have a good chunk of this at the moment. Right now I'm only up 1%, 1.5%. But if we change this to the 280 period, you can see why. Okay? Because it is implied we will revert to the 280 moving average. As far as profit ratios go, from where we are now, that's about 15% if we assume the mean travels down to meet price as well. Ooh, okay. Cairo says, if you remember your AUDCHF call, why didn't it fully reverse? We didn't get the right CCI roll-up, did we? Okay, let's talk about this. First, I need to find the idea. Thank you for bringing that up. I love going over failed calls. One of the most important things you can do is figure out why you were wrong. A lot of people just scratch their head and blame their losses on volatility. Okay. Why did this fail? Let's hit play. Ooh, that did fail indeed. Let's check it out. Okay, let me figure out the date. I called this December 17th. So right here. Okay, let's get the proper readings of mass. And let's go to the right time frame. I was on there as well. It was on the 4-hour chart. It was December 15th, actually, excuse me. 4-hour chart, right? Okay. Let's wait for this to load up. $200, okay. All right. So at this location, it was implied we'd go down to the 200 mean, and we did. Okay, I'm seeing where the failure happened. 1 second. It was on the shorter term expansion. This downward move, 70 period. Did I? Is that what I implied? I have the 75 listed on the 4-hour chart. Should have reverted to the 75 mean. So, change this to 75. A failure of mean reversion. That is very rare. Okay. Right, so our long signal would have been a CCI rollup. This is 14. 20 would be a slightly less reactive, so, or a 7 period actually, would what we would use here. So I'd actually go on a shorter time frame and just increase the periods, but yeah, we would have gotten long signals here and here. And our target would have been this mean. So first of all, yeah, we did trade laterally as defined by the 75 band, right? We find support on the bottom edge of it multiple times. But guess what happens at this location? Our 75 period goes below the 0.7 value. the 75 period, our most overexpanded period, goes below the point of critical mass, price action is no longer defined by the 1.25 standard deviation of that relative band. So if you actually are expecting mean reversion, but your longest overexpanded period sufficiently compresses to allow for the direction of new trending, it can fail, okay? And essentially what this means is there was enough lateral compression this way, right, where the 70 band compressed around price without price traveling up the mean. So this lateral compression that happened here was sufficient enough to allow the beginning of a new trend. And then we have new expansion. And now we're actually seeing clouds of volatility overhead from the upper periods that were slightly overexpanded. Very interesting. That's a good chart. Thanks for asking that. So yes, I would have stopped out of this trade. This was a losing trade. Okay. Does that answer your question, Cairo? I'm going to look at Poly here. Nice breakout. I'm looking at that channel. It's really obvious, but I'm going to ignore it for you guys because I don't like trading channels. 14 period CCI roll down. I'm assuming we just dropped the 14 mean. I actually have it loaded up. It's right there. No, I haven't done that yet. You guys are technically the longest overexpanded period. Let's check it on the 15 minute and identify the proper values for retracement. Okay, that's too high. Let's try the 1 hour. Perfect. I am looking here at the 120 period. Let's identify the proper pivot for mean reversion. Holy shit. You have a really high profit ratio trade right here. I like it. Hold on. I'm going to do some profit taking on, what I'm going to take profit on. I think I might cash out of some more TRX. I'm going to sell 25% here. Right? Since this here is a really nice profit ratio, our upside is around 15%, our downside is 2%. So I'm going to push up the price here. 1 second, guys. There she goes. Pretty small order, but profit ratio is there, so I'm just going to enter it. Okay. And then I'm going to set an alert for my stop loss. I recommend you do the same. Okay. Because we actually have retraced sufficiently for the proper pivot for continued upward expansion. Oh, look at it go. There it goes. Okay. How much you bet this is going to be worth like an extra 5% by the end of the live stream? Well, this is the 1 hour chart, so I actually doubt that. Looks good though. Really. Great chart. I'm gonna buy some more. I'm thinking about it. I'm just gonna make a quick chart about this, if you don't mind. And I should also check if there's any significant pivots on the higher time frames, just in case. This is a rather risky trade, so do be careful. I think I'm going to sit on this one. Or at least just make it public. Sufficient retracement. The continued expansion of the longest overexpanded period. Tag with Bitcoin, because why not? And I should put a projection on there to make it a little bit more attractive. And then we do like a converse projection down here. It's going to be red. Let's actually just do that, because that's going to be more attractive. Text. That's attractive. Okay. Publish the idea. People in the voice channel, they talking about me? They are. I'm going to answer like one more question, look at the Dow Jones, and then be on my way. Hey man, right now we're just going to see a dead cat on the weekly 50, weekly 200. Oh. 1 second. I don't have the pivot set up. Was that really the weekly 50? Would you look at that? Weekly 200 it is. Actually, this is going to be interesting. Hold on. All right, because our longest overexpanded period is 200. So, when we re-enter the 200 band, it's implied that we go to the 200 moving average. Simple as that. Because this is actually the largest overexpansion we have seen this decade. Let's take a look at the previous price action. Actually, it's kind of funny. Last time we saw this much mass was here, the 150, and we did revert to the 150 mean, but then the panic selling caught in, and then the entire crash happened. So your pivots for mean reversion on the Dow Jones Industrial Average is right here when we entered the purple band. Simple as that. I have an alert. AUD Japanese yen. Let's check it out. Holy moly. That's it, baby. That's the end of the trend. Okay, we're going to look for a long position on here, too. I have 11 viewers. I'm going to be done. I'm kind of tired. All right, folks. This has been fun. I will talk to you all later. See you, folks.